December 13th. When I look over the banister, Sarah's dead. I see my dad with blood coming out. The path to enlightenment is a journey through the dark night of the soul.
Originally from Chicago, born and raised. What really got me into writing this film was like watching these other films that just, from all over the world. Filmmaking was always something that other guy did, something that was only attainable, through Hollywood connections. And I literally just picked up a camera and started playing around. I just basically dove headfirst into filmmaking.
I think bringing an idea to life is very important, and we certainly did that. So the movie explores those depths that even when you're successful, you've certainly had moments where you've had to deal with them. Some people crack, some don't. But it's certainly a conversation and a film.
It all started with Jonico Viva when the track Therapy was released. We actually got a nice push from DJ Sander Kleinenberg, who put it on his mix CD.
Therapy. This is the same guy who did Therapy. This is like one of the greatest acapellas for me when I'm sending a message playing for people in a club, because it's a fine line between partying your brains out and losing your sanity and keeping it together.
Jonico Viva wanted to talk with Dan. He wanted to meet us, and basically we ended up meeting him at the DMF in Detroit. We just sat down, and it's funny because that's what it all started, where I was telling him that I was writing a script.
I then kept in touch and followed their video work.
But in the meantime, I was gonna make music videos, I was gonna continue to DJ, I was gonna maybe do shorts and stuff.
But even going back to when I first became aware of Dan and Jimmy, both the lyrical work, the visual work, really impressed. So Bad Habits.
Baby, I got some bad habits.
I got this disc. It was a compilation of Detroit electronic artists, and there was a song on there called Be By Myself by Dan Diamond. I was playing at a club, so he actually came to Rod nightclub, and where I was DJing as a guest that night, and he came to watch me play, and we just hit it off from there.
I see you right there on your side of the room. You make me wanna walk.
We also did Titty Dancer.
My girlfriend is a dancer. She's a dancer.
Following the experience I got by doing some music videos, I was really anxious to do something linear, storytelling, without so much music driven. Being the big Howard Stern fan I am, who would listen to him daily basically, it was just a perfect calling moment when I heard them announce that they were doing a short film festival. The light went off. I was like, this is it. It was like something that I know I can do.
Welcome to a Howard 100 News special. Tissue Time. Bedtime stories with happy endings. And now, your hostess, Heidi Cortez.
And I didn't feel intimidated at all. I didn't feel like I was out of my league, because I knew it was going to be a bunch of people submitting just crazy stuff. And so I actually took this opportunity to make the best quality and real film I can do. And it was a 5-minute limit, so it was perfect. So I had the idea, which was, the guy masturbating, listening to one of the shows that they used to do on the Sirius channel at the time called Tissue Time. Getting chosen out of like 2,000 entries as one of the top 9 finalists to be brought out to New York and to have a screening with the fans and the crew, and Howard was there, everybody, was the real confidence booster of that I can do this. So that's what I ended up doing, is writing The Red Man, and it was inevitable that Dan was going to be the lead in that movie.
I grabbed a bat, and then I beat him over the head with it.
I always knew I wanted to do a movie based around an artist and the concept of, you know, selling your soul, the whole Faustian tale. And then I started doing research on other films of that era, genre, and that storyline. And other films and filmmakers that inspired The Red Man was Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, Roman Polanski's Rosemary's Baby, and especially Repulsion. Those films were some of the films that Dario Argento was even, you know, inspired by. I wanted to bring that element into The Red Man, and it inspired me completely to keep going with this film.
I was really curious about like what this vision could be on film. John was really excited about this, and I saw the concept trailer.
The first thing we did is we made this concept trailer.
I flew down to watch a screening of a trailer. I was just really blown away by what they were able to do with a bootstrap sort of budget, but also the talent that he brought together.
I knew, you know, from writing the script, the kind of people I wanted. I figured what I would do is I'll have a small casting session to find the actors, and these actors will likely be in my feature.
It's not always easy to bring people together. Certainly aware of that doing parties and productions, whether it's music productions or parties. Not every party gets pulled off.
Some of the great people that I've met was LeBrandon Shed. I remember needing somebody for this certain role, and it's like, this guy was just like so genuine.
What's happening, DJ?
Lindsay Naves, who came from recommendation from our line producer. I wanted someone to be like the goth, you know, kind of like cool, earthy chick that would inspire Evan.
Intern, and internships pay dick. This, however, pays shit.
When we met Daniel Feraldo, I literally was going through IMDb and just looking for a face, like looking for someone who has been in genre films and has a background in genre films. And when I came across Dr. Daniel Feraldo, I saw his IMDb credit for Above the Law, which was Steven Seagal's film.
The bad dreams, the frightening thoughts, the flashbacks, all symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder.
Everything that you do in a film matters. My name is Michael O'Neill. I play Ian Dowdy.
Who's Jimmy again? Oh, the director.
I remember when I showed up for the audition.
Man, who the fuck are you?
I saw Ian's character, and it just intrigued me what was going on. But I looked at the breakdown of what it looked like. It was like skinny and bald and all these things, and I was like, screw it. I'm gonna go in there and just try it. I got called and was told that I got it. They asked me, would you be willing to lose some weight? And I think the machinist was quoted. Yeah, that's gonna be that's probably the biggest change I've ever had. And I remember I said, let me call you back to the director. And I called my mother. She told me, well, isn't that what actors do? I was like, holy shit, all right, Mom, thanks, yeah, you're right. And I still have all the hair.
Experience that I had working with Jimmy was, in a word, traumatizing. I am still in therapy. My name is Casey Andrew. I'm actually a music producer, a percussionist, and performer of sorts. I only had to arrive on set a few times to transform into the Red Man. Wasn't the most pleasant experience. It essentially involved me being, if not completely nude, then very close to nude.
The first time I saw Casey naked, I was a bit jealous. Freely walking around with what God gave him flowing in the wind.
A number of people, sometimes people I'd just recently met. We're painting my body, top to bottom, head to toe, in obscene amounts of paint and makeup. Sometimes this process would take a number of hours just so that I could arrive on set, remove my robe, do the shot, which sometimes only took a matter of minutes, and then I'd have to go home and spend quite a bit of time removing said makeup and paint in the shower. It comes off a lot quicker if you have a friend to help you with some of the scrubbing.
No, exactly. That makes sense. What impressed me about Jimmy was he had an absolute vision exactly how he wanted his first movie to turn out like. I'm Richard J. I'm a producer. Did all different types of projects, documentaries, movies, TV shows. So that's where my experience started. One of our locations was Gene Correctional Facility, which is just outside of Las Vegas, which is a bit of an eerie place because it's like an empty, deserted prison camp. So we filmed there for a few days, and I remember Dan Diamond getting a bit freaked out. He really didn't like the vibe there. We were filming in the hospital wing, and there was a lot of people that obviously had been there, who we found out afterwards had obviously died. So they had this eerie, ghostly feel, which actually helped towards making The Red Man.
I had a lot of fun shooting the final scenes of the movie when we did the stuff in the insane asylum with Dan and everybody else.
I would say the best locations that we filmed at was definitely the studio, where we had all the sets built, and we could base ourselves in the studio for 3 weeks. So being a producer, it was just easier for everyone to come to one location every day.
You know, since I knew the majority of the film would take place in Evan's apartment, we had to make that look really, really come alive to the authenticity of the script, which was the apartment of the hip, trendy, successful DJ. Like, where would that guy live? You know, he would live in a high-rise tower. And so we wanted to have that look. So making that with my production designer, Fang Lee, was amazing to just be able to sit through, you know, talks with her about, you know, color palettes and furniture, and we picked everything: the fabrics, the paint, the dishes, the silverware, everything. It was all planned to go, what kind of lap of luxury would this person have? And of course, on our budget.
My main role on set was to be a DIT, which is Digital Imaging Technician, which basically means I'm handling the dailies. Media cards come off the cameras and they're handed to me, and my job is to secure them, copy them, and make dailies for the director and everybody to watch. We were definitely, you know, one of those digital films, you know. Didn't cross our mind whatsoever about shooting on film. I mean, with digital technology now, it's no-brainer that, you know, that's the route we were going to go for our budget. Shooting on the Red Epic was the top of the line, and again, our DP Shane Daly was more than knowledgeable enough to bring us the best look for what we were working with, lighting and sets and everything. He guided me like a teacher, and one of the biggest things that I've learned was make sure your DP knows more than you. There was a point of production where we had to do some reshoots. We couldn't get Shane back for due to scheduling and stuff. So we had to come up with a solution. We had to emulate the Red look as best as possible. And the good thing is that there is, in current production, some manufacturers that do make glass that will at least mimic this effect. So we were able to put together a small camera package and go reshoot this ourselves, and we learned a lot. But the main thing is that we were able to keep the essence of the look that we wanted.
What's your favorite part of the process of?
I would say my favorite, I'm not gonna lie, is the festival circuit and celebrating the accomplishment, having people see it. Some people might say the writing, or the shooting, or the editing, and I mean, it's all fun, but of course I love the writing part. Of course I love shooting. That was amazing to go to work every day on the set of the film that you dreamed about, the story you wrote. That was amazing, and just working with these great people. I mean, literally I would pinch myself every day like I'm actually doing this. It's the screenings. It's having people come up to you and say, you know, they got it and I understood it. That's definitely my favorite part so far. So I just never thought it would get made. I've just been so fortunate that my first script was greenlit.
Cut. Beautiful.